Good morning, good evening, and good night, everybody. My name is Sarah, and today we're finally doing the Mid-Year Freakout. This is technically like a month late, but June was all about Pride Month, and so I didn't film anything that wasn't LGBTQIA+ related. This is not related to that, so it was moved to July. Now, I'm actually not alone today. I have someone reading the questions for me.
Hi!
Hi! So, she's just going to be off in the voice of the camera. You won't see her, but she's there. So, yeah, I guess with that all being said, let's dive on in.
Question 1. Best book you've read so far in 2019?
Shadow of the Fox. It feels so weird because I don't actually remember it was 2019 when I was reading it. It feels like it was actually last year, but no, it was just like in March or something. And I cannot wait because the sequel just came out and I haven't read it yet. But I'm like, you're going to hear me talk about that a lot, even though I haven't read it yet. Just a quick reminder, Shadow of the Fox is a book about this half-kitsune girl who's a half-spirit fox. She is raised in this sort of temple, this monastery that's in charge of protecting this magical scroll. Because 1,000 years ago, a dragon was summoned, and they grant one wish to whoever has this scroll of 1,000 prayers. And the dragon's coming again, and everyone wants that scroll, and so she needs to go on a mission to protect it.
Question 2. Best sequel you've read so far in 2019?
Crooked Kingdom. Again, you're going to hear me talk about this a lot. So, I just love the Six of Crows books. They are so much fun and so interesting. I love stories that deal with heists and criminals, and I know the magic system really isn't well explained at all in the Grishaverse, but I love it, and it's so interesting, and you're going to hear me talk about this again. I could not stop smiling. I ran into my roommate's room just holding the book. It was the best.
Question 3. New release you haven't read yet, but want to?
There's a couple answers for this because I want to read everything, and I don't buy new releases too quickly, but there's a couple exceptions. Just like these 3 books. There's We Hunt the Flames, Once and Future, and Soul of Sword. Soul of Sword is book 2 of Shadow of the Fox. Once and Future is a King Arthur retelling, but it's sci-fi, and it's awesome. And then We Hunt the Flame is a story between a hunter who has to pretend to be male to feed her people, and the king's assassin, who also happens to be the prince of the kingdom. So all of these, I just need to read soon, and they're all hardback because I couldn't wait for them to come out in paper. I wanted them that bad.
Question 4. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year?
So, God of Jade and Shadow. That is sort of this Mayan-inspired book that it sounds so fascinating, and the cover is so pretty, and I'm loving books just based off of culture's mythology that, aren't entirely represented in our modern society, and I need it, and it's pretty, and I want it. And The Merciful Crow is about 3 separate individuals who come together. One of them is a mercy killing who goes out of their way to give people the death they deserve. They are kind of like the one who sort of earns the mantra of the crow. There is the prince who kind of fakes his own death, and then there is, I believe they're called the chef chain or something like that. And they have to come together, and they're like, it sounds so interesting. And again, it's so pretty, and I want it.
Question 5. Biggest disappointment?
It wasn't a bad book, but it was disappointing, and that's not your sidekick. I went out of my way to obtain this book. It was so difficult for me to get my hands on for some reason. I was so stubborn of buying it in a bookstore, and no bookstore carried it, and it got kind of ridiculous because I was traveling during that time, and I visited every bookstore. But eventually I gave in and bought it on Amazon, and it took so long for me to get, and it was hyped up so much by all my friends who read these kind of superhero books, and it wasn't that good. It was fine and all, but it felt so lacking, it didn't deserve all the praise and all the trouble I had to go through to get it, and so it feels like such a disappointment. It was still a 3-4 star read, but it's forever soured in my mind because I want it to be so good, and of course it couldn't live up to that expectation.
Question 6. Biggest surprise?
That would probably be The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I knew this was a very well-loved book. People were raving about it for years. Well, a year. however long time existed. But I knew I was always like hesitant to go into it because it's kind of a contemporary. It's told about this Hollywood starlet back during the 50s, and she was bi, and it's about her 7 husbands and her 1 wife, and it's just the reason why she had the 7 husbands. And I was like, it sounds like a romance, it sounds like a contemporary that deals with drama and Hollywood, and for someone who grew up around Hollywood, those stories are kind of old for me. Like, I see them every day, so I was so like, I was worried it would just be another La La Land. But of course it wasn't. It was amazing. I loved it. My mother loved it because we listened to an audiobook on a road trip. And it was just, I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. And it's probably going to end up on my favorites list.
Question 7. Favorite new author? Debut or new to you?
I feel like I don't want to use Julia Kagawa again because she's the person who wrote Shadow of the Fox. But I went through all the people who I read this year, and most of them I already read, most of their books. Like, I've loved them for a while, and she really is one of my new favorite authors. Like, I love her, just her writing style and the way that she deals with, like, making just this Japanese mythology so understandable to a Western audience. Like, yes, I have a background in understanding that stuff, but most people don't, and it's so easy to understand, and I love it, and I cannot wait to read more of her books because, again, I have the sequel on my shelf, and I haven't read it yet, but I need to.
Question 8. Newest fictional crush?
I don't technically have one because I don't crush on fictional characters, but if I had to choose, it would probably be Leo Valdez from not Trials of Apollo, Heroes of Olympus. Why could I not think of the series name? But when he was first introduced, I was like, he's kind of annoying, but I can see where he's coming from. He would be like that friend you were just like, you can't get rid of, and you love them and endear them, but you also really want to hit them, because they're just that annoying. But as the series went on, as he developed as a character, if I had to pick someone, it would be him. And I've started watching a lot of cosplay videos, and I started noticing that he pops up a lot. I fully support that, and I love it.
Question 9. Newest favorite character?
Nico D'Angelo. He's the son of Hades. He controls the dead, and he's dating the child of a sun god. Like, it's not a spoiler. I mean, I knew it going into it, but it's so cute, but forever in my mind, he's stuck at like 12 years old because that's when he was introduced. And he's younger than most of the main characters of Percy Jackson. And he's forever just stuck at like that younger age. Like, I know he's 16 by the time Trials of Apollo take place, but I think of him so young, and it's just like, in that mind, he's like that younger sibling. It's like, oh, you're so adorable. Don't raise the dead tonight, though. That's a problem for another day. And yeah, he's one of my new favorite characters, and I know he doesn't show up too much in Trials of Apollo series, but when he was in that first book, he was the star. He was the star.
Question 10. Book that made you cry?
Now, I've never had a book that made me cry. I don't get emotional for books, like, at all. Like, oh yay, I get cheerful. Oh yay, I get happy. It doesn't, like, oh, okay, that character died. Oh, okay, the whole world's burning down. Oh well. It doesn't affect me. So a book has never made me cry. And I don't hunt out books that make me cry because I don't need that in my life. Just only one piece of media in my entire life has made me cry. And there's a lot of external factors in that. So I don't think I'm ever going to read a book that I would willingly read knowing it would make me cry.
Question 11. Book that made you happy?
I already explained Crooked Kingdom. I finished reading that book, and I just went into my roommate's room, and I laid on the floor smiling, just hugging the book, because it was that good. And I couldn't stop smiling for like a day afterwards, because it was just that good, and I love it so much. I brought it with me, even though I've already read it. It's on my TBR shelf, because I'm going to reread it. I know.
Question 12. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received?
I'm pretty sure you already know the answer. Look at how beautiful this is. Like, it's beautiful and blue, and it's stunning, and it has a sword on the cover, and I love it. But I've talked about this a lot. I haven't even read it yet. So probably the other book would be On Writing and World Building. I love it. It's so pretty, and then like the hair is onto the back, and it's so pretty, and I love it. So this is by Hello Future Me, the YouTuber. Go watch his videos. He just does amazing stuff.
Question 13. What books do you need to read by the end of the year?
I mean, like, all of them, but Definitely Soul of Sword. Definitely is mostly just Soul of Sword. That's like really the only thing. But there's also a book that I really want that I don't own yet, but I'm trying to get like 7 different people to buy it for me for my birthday. So I'm gonna get it eventually. And that's Arch Enemies. This is book 2 in the Renegade series. This series is like the most important series to one of my best friends, and she's been trying to get me to read it for a while. I finally read the first book. I loved it. Can't wait to get to the second book because I'm gonna get it, and I can't wait to read it by the end of the year. I'm definitely gonna get it by the end of July, so hopefully I will read it by August. That's preferably my deadline. So yeah, that is all the questions. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any agreement or debate with any of the things I just mentioned, please leave that down in the comment section down below. And while you're there, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And as always, good night, good evening, and good morning, everybody.